Hello students, today I am taking up a topic which I have seen many students are generally afraid of. So hopefully after this lesson you will feel much confident about this particular topic. After this lesson I will also post a couple of worked out examples to make you understand the applications more clearly. So make sure you go through this video first, you understand the concepts, make notes if you need it, and thereafter you go and try those numericals. So let us begin now. Potentiometer, as most of you must have already heard, it's a kind of a electrical device. Electrical device. It has got many applications, but as far as our curriculum is concerned of 12th standard or JEE or NEET, we only need to study two applications, which are first, comparison of EMFs of two cells, and the second, finding the internal resistance of a cell. Now, before understanding the applications, we first need to know the working principle because it is the most important aspect of any device. If you are able to understand its working principle, then you will be definitely able to understand its applications. Now, how we are using that device particularly. So, the working principle of a potentiometer is that the potential difference, you can say, the potential difference is proportional to the length of the wire. Potential difference is proportional to the length of the wire across its any segment. Across its any segment. What do we mean by this principle is you will understand in a while. Let us first understand the circuit diagram. The circuit diagram across many books or notes or your lab manual you will find like this. This is the wire AB of the potentiometer wire. It is connected to some source with the help of which we are conducting the experiment, which is connected to a variable resistance here. I am calling out this to be E source, this to be variable resistance. We can say this is R, and the resistance of wire AB I am calling out to be RAB to avoid any confusions. If you have done this particular experiment in the lab, then you must have seen a device like this. The wire is wounded on a wooden box like this. It is a wooden box, and this is the potentiometer wire. Potentiometer wire, which I have shown here in the circuit diagram with a single wire AB. And there is also a scale attached to this bench to measure the length of the wire. This is a scale here. If you can recall, if you have done experiment in lab. Otherwise, even if you have not done the experiment yet, you just focus on the circuit diagram for now and everything will be fine. Now forget about the applications for once. Just focus on this circuit diagram. First we will understand what is the concept behind the potentiometer. Then we will go into the applications. So forget about the applications for now. Just focus on this circuit diagram. The circuit diagram looks like this. So just work with me and try to find out these values which I am writing. Try to find out the current flowing in the circuit. You can pause the video and try it for yourself. I can be written as E of source upon the resistance AB of the wire potentiometer and the variable resistance R. It can be written as RAB plus small r, since both are in series. Now again, repeat the same exercise and try to find the potential difference across the wire AB of the potentiometer. We can write this using Ohm's law, I into resistance AB. I we have already calculated. We can write down ES upon RAB plus small r into RAB here. Now this is the potential difference across this wire AB of the potentiometer only. Now we have found the potential difference across the wire AB. Say the length of the wire AB is L. So try to find out the potential drop across the wire AB per unit length. We can write this ES RAB upon RAB plus small r by L. Now if you observe closely here, you can see that all the parameters involved, E of source, RAB, small r and L, all the parameters are constant. So the potential drop across the wire AB per unit length is a constant value. This is a very special term which we will use very frequently in applications. This is called potential gradient, which most of you must have heard. Potential gradient. So potential gradient is nothing but potential drop across the wire AB per unit its length. What will be its benefit? We'll see in a while. Suppose in this same circuit, for some reason, we are required to find the potential drop, say only across this length, say from A to X, and the length is L dash. So we need not to do all the calculations again. We can simply write VAX equals to the potential gradient we have found, which is per unit length, into the length of the segment wire AX. So we can directly write this value without going into the unnecessary calculations again and again. So I'll repeat here again to just make the terms clear. RAB we have taken the resistance of the potentiometer wire only. Resistance of the potentiometer wire. Small r we have taken to be external resistance, external variable resistance, and ES is the voltage of the source with the help of which we are going to conduct the experiments. So ES is source voltage. Now we have understood so far the concept of the potentiometer, that it works on the principle of potential difference is proportional to the length of the wire across its segment. So it is clear so far now that across whatever length we need to find the potential difference. In case of potentiometer wire, it is proportional to its length only. So now we can move on to our first application, which is comparison of EMF of two cells. Comparison of EMFs. Suppose we have got two cells of EMF, say E1 and internal resistance R1, and the other one is of EMF E2 and internal resistance R2. Now let us try to understand the circuit diagram. The main circuit still remains the same, just like this. There will be some slight changes. Now pay attention, we connect one cell at a time with the help of a wire and We also connect a galvanometer and jockey in place. This arrow is the symbol for a jockey, which we will use to find the null point eventually. Now suppose first we have connected cell E1 with resistance R1. Now what we do is we try to find the null point on this wire AB. Suppose we put the wire at some distance, say L1 from here, and we have found the null point. Null point means there is no current flowing through the galvanometer. It is showing zero deflection. Now think, when can that happen? That the galvanometer is showing no deflection at all. It can happen, say this point is X. It can happen only when the potential difference across the segment AX and the potential difference across the cell both are equal. Then only there will be no current through the galvanometer. In the cell, there is no current means the potential difference across the cell is even only because there is no current through the cell. So we can conclude that the potential difference across the length AX is equal to E1. When you have found the null point, you take these two circuits, the circuit of the potentiometer and the circuit of the cell, to be two independent circuits. You do not mix these two circuits to avoid confusion. So we can clearly see the potential difference across AX should be equal to the value E1 in this case. But previously we have already found, using the concept of potential gradient, that we can write VAX to be equal to K times L1 by using the concept of potential gradient. And here we can see that VAX is also equal to nothing but E1. Therefore we can say that E1 is equal to K times L1, which makes our equation 1. Similarly, say if you connect the other cell in the same manner and again find the null point, we can connect again different cell using the galvanometer, and suppose we get the null point at length L2. This is E2 and this is R2. Therefore, using the same concept, we can say that E2 should be equals to K times L2, our equation number 2. Now, if you check these two equations, equation 1 and equation 2, if you take the ratio 1 divided by 2, we can say E1 by E2 is nothing but equal to L1 by L2. L1 and L2 we can measure using the help of that scale I showed you earlier. So lengths can be measured and hence we can compare the value of E1 and E2. So far we are done with one application of potentiometer. I'm repeating again, always remember, when the null point is achieved, then you treat these two circuits of potentiometer and the cell to be two independent circuits to avoid confusion. And if you have found the null point, the potential difference across the ends AX and across the cell should be same. Then only you can achieve the null point. This is the only concept here. Okay, so now moving on to the other application, which is the finding the internal resistance of a cell. Internal resistance of a cell. Again, in this case also, the basic circuit of the potentiometer remains same. Suppose you have got a cell of EMF say E and internal resistance R. So let us try to avoid writing the same R to avoid the confusion. Let us say it is capital R here. which we need to find using our potentiometer. There is one more external resistance, say R external, is available for us to use according to our need. This we will use in a short while. So first what we do is we just connect the cell directly like we did in the previous comparison of EMFs. We connected the cell like this through a galvanometer and a jockey, and we found a null point, say at a distance L1. So using the previous concepts, we can again write here the EMF of the cell to be equal to K times L1. This is equation number 1 in this case. Now what we do is we also use that additional external resistance which we considered previously. The cell is connected in this fashion, and the additional external resistance is also used here. Again, this entire setup is connected with the help of a galvanometer to the potentiometer in this fashion. The EMF is E. The internal resistance we have taken to be R. Remember, R is our resistance which we have to find, and this value we have taken to be R external. This is the standard circuit diagram. Now pay close attention. Our aim is again to find out the null point. We connected the circuit in this fashion. We again found out the null point. Say this time we got it at the length L2. Now I am repeating again that after finding the null point, you treat these two circuits as two independent circuits. Do not mix them to avoid confusion. Concept remains same. The current flowing through the circuit of the potentiometer will flow in this fashion, and the current flowing in the external circuit will continue to flow in this fashion. But there will be no current through this galvanometer because we have found the null point. So these two are, as you can see clearly, are two independent circuits. So need not to mix them. The concept again remains the same. Say this point is Y. So if you have found the null point, it means the potential difference across AY should be equals to the say potential difference across PQ. I'm naming them PQ. So we just have to write the potential differences across AY and PQ, then we will equate them. Now let us see how to do that. Potential difference across AY can be directly written as using the previous concepts to be K times L2. Now let us focus on the external circuit for once. Say I name it to be I dash, the current which is flowing in the external circuit. Take a pause and try to write down the value of I dash. The value of I dash will be equals to E, which is the EMF in the external circuit, upon R plus R external, because only R plus R external are in series with each other and they have no relation with the external circuit. So we can directly write E upon R plus R external in this fashion. So this implies the potential across PQ. You can write it to be I dash times R external directly using Ohm's law. I'm just substituting the values. We can write E upon R plus R external into R external. Now this is the potential difference across PQ. Now using the concept of null point, we can say this KL2, this value, and this value VPQ should be equal to each other. So we are, we are going to equate those two values. So I'm writing KL2 will be equals to, from the previous values, E upon R plus R external into R external. This is say equation number 2. Now remember, we have also found the value of E using equation number 1. So we are going to use equation 1 now. So we are using this value. Finally, we can write in place of E, we can write K times L1. So I am writing K times L1 upon R plus R external into R external. K and K gets cancelled out. From here we can simplify the value of R external, or rather I should say R, because R is our internal resistance in this case. So on simplifying we can write R plus R external whole upon R external equals to L1 by L2. So here I can say R will be equals to L1 by L2 minus 1 into R external. I think this is the final value we will get. So this is the main formula which you should remember to find out the internal resistance